Jeffrey asks, do you think a new Jurassic World movie is a good idea? Should they have waited longer to make another movie? So it was announced earlier today that a new, no, that's not how we want that. A new Jurassic World movie is not only in the works, but it's very deep into the writing process. That they've had David Cope working on this for a while now. And in fact, it says in the article, whoa, what have I done? Says in the article, the project, which has been flying under the radar, is far enough along. The script is in a well-liked shape that the studio is whispering of a possible 2025 release date. That's pretty wild. That's pretty crazy that they're just now mentioning that this is happening. It's just now breaking. New Jurassic World film is happening. And Universal is thinking, hey, maybe we can get this thing out next year, which if that's the case for a movie like this, they have to start shooting this summer. Like a movie like this has to have about a year of post-production because there's just so many visual effects and they're going to spend enough money on it that you also need a big promotional campaign. And so there's several other key things in here. First one, David Cope is writing. If you don't know, David Cope is a well-established writer. Most importantly, in this context, he wrote the first two Jurassic Park films. Of course, they are adaptations of Michael Crichton books, and especially in the case of the first one, he was handed the best source material from an iconic writer of the last 50 years, and then he did a fantastic job adapting it, making one of the great blockbusters of the last 40 years. But it's the guy that wrote the two Jurassic Park films, not the team that wrote the Jurassic World films of the last several years. So for me, that gives me hope. Another little detail in the article, where is this? It says, it is unclear what form the relaunch is taking. Let me make that bigger for you. No, here we go. It's not clear if the relaunch is taking. It is known to be launching a new Jurassic era, per sources with an all-new storyline. That would seem to rule out the return of characters played by Jurassic World stars Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, and it seems characters featured in the original Jurassic Park movies played by Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum would not be involved. So, important detail here, this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. This is not rumor mill. This is not Reddit. This is not leaks. This is actual official announcement journalism. And they're saying it. We don't think we're bringing back any old actors in any sort of significant prominent role. The idea from everything we're hearing is that this is a new Jurassic Park story. Not new continuity, but a new era, new story, separate from what they did before. So that'll bring us back to the question. Do you think a new Jurassic World movie is a good idea? Should they have waited longer to make another film? I think what you said in the second sentence is what I would say. That you need to pause, especially if they're thinking, this thing comes out next year. There was a longer gap between some of our Jurassic World movies than the gap would be between Dominion and this movie if it comes out next year. And if you're trying to make it an event, like Jurassic World, when it came out, people have their criticisms of it, fair enough, but it was an event. It made a pinch more than the Avengers to be the biggest 3-day opening weekend of all time when it came out in 2015. It beat the Avengers. Like $2 million, so probably sold about the exact same number of tickets. But it was an event. We hadn't had a Jurassic Park film in 15 years. We hadn't had a good Jurassic Park film in longer than that. And it came back and it solidified Pratt as an A-list movie star and, of course, has launched this franchise with 3 movies that made over $1 billion. I get why the studio wants to get another one out there, but they just put out a trilogy that, while it was a moneymaker, it's not well regarded. That there was dwindling returns, and in particular, by the time you got to the Dominion, everyone's just kind of like, what are we doing here? Why is this about locusts and corporate espionage? And you brought the Alan Grant back to run around in the hallways of evil Apple? Like, what is going on here? And I think you need a little bit more time to let people... absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I think they should have waited longer. I would absolutely agree with that. But do I think a new Jurassic World movie is a good idea? Well, first off, they're Jurassic Park movies to me because I'm old. So first off, I mean, I've even got my amber right here on my desk at all times to remind me of that original film. One of my favorite movies of all time. One of the great adventure blockbusters of all time. And the world of dinosaurs, the world of Jurassic Park, there's more stories to tell. I think they very much went in the wrong direction after Jurassic World. And even in Jurassic World, there were wrong ideas in there. But they went so veered off into this goofy idea about like human cloning and military applications that you just, what are we doing? This is Jurassic Park. If you watch there was a short put out, Battle of Big Rock, something like that, directed by Trevorrow. And it's about dinosaurs just being on the loose, and this family goes out camping, and a dinosaur attacks them, and it's just the survival story. Wild in my house right now. If they do that, they make a movie out of that. I would say it learned from movies like Prey that take this big franchise that lost its way with several sequels, and they brought it back to the basic small-scale survival. And you do that with Jurassic Park. We've put dinosaurs all over the world now. So tell a story that's not trying to be this big, gigantic, massive story, but make it a personal story. The budget doesn't need to be $300 million. But you make a great, tense thriller where dinosaurs are in our world and normal people are trying to survive in it. I think you could do something really cool with that. But I would also say wait longer. I just think the longer you wait, the more people have that desire for a dinosaur movie. And this is the dinosaur franchise. That's what I would say. But, you know, when your movie makes $1 billion, or when you make 3 movies in a row that make $1 billion, you want to keep doing that. Even if there's diminishing returns, it's a safe bet. And they're in the movie business. It's business. And Jurassic movies make money, they sell merchandise, and they're a franchise that keeps bringing new people in because dinosaurs are fun and interesting, so they're safe bets. Not surprising. But back to what we said at the beginning. They did bring in David Koepp. This is not the writing team that did all the weird stuff in this last trilogy. It's the guy that adapted the original novels. It's a guy that's been working a long time, worked on Spider-Man 2002, a number of other great films. That makes me feel a lot better about it. Maybe there's something in here that can work. Coming up in just a few weeks, I'm heading off to Orlando, Florida for Megacon with a bunch of my YouTube friends. We're going to be doing panels across all 4 days of Megacon. We're doing meet and greets. If you're anywhere in Florida, the United States, planet Earth, the Milky Way galaxy, or the multiverse, you want to be at Megacon, it's going to be a blast. Details are down below in the description.